Time now for the Woezor TV report. Let's take a look at the headlines. Now let's begin. President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to construct a permanent convention and exhibition center in Kwewu to host the Kwewu Business Forum and other major international events. Speaking at this year's forum, he said government is in discussions with Metalex and Trasaco to develop the facility, which he said will position Kwewu as a major hub for conferences and exhibitions. He added that the project will include spaces for performances, meetings, and exhibitions aimed at boosting tourism and economic activity in the area. As part of the broader development plan, President Mahama also revealed that an airstrip will be constructed to facilitate both domestic and international travel to Kwewu, particularly for conferences and large-scale events.
Credit. We want to take this whole thing a step further, and so we are working with Metalex and Trasaco to build a permanent convention, conference and exhibition center on this site. And so we want it to become a center for conferences and exhibitions, not only in Ghana but for organizations that come from outside Ghana to come and hold conferences and exhibitions here. And so they are thinking of a permanent convention center, space for performances, meetings, exhibitions, and then we're also going to improve the whole road network in the Kwewu area so that the congestion that is normally created will reduce. And ultimately, we want to have an airstrip here so that flights can come in both domestically and people coming from outside who want to come and attend conferences.
Still on the president, he has called an emergency cabinet meeting to consider urgent measures to cushion Ghanaians against rising fuel prices caused by ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Speaking on the second day of the Kwewu Business Forum on Saturday, April 4, the president said the meeting will focus on identifying practical interventions to cushion Ghanaians from the impact of rising petroleum costs. He affirmed his government's commitment to easing the burden on citizens, noting that cabinet will assess various components of fuel price buildup and consider the options to relieve.
So we are all concerned about what is happening in Iran and Israel. It has led an increase in petroleum prices from $68 per barrel to almost $120 per barrel. And so the low fuel prices we used to enjoy, which was about 10, 11 cedis per liter, has suddenly gone up. For petrol is 13 point something, and for diesel I see 15 point something, 16. We're all praying that conflict will come to an end sooner than later. But I must assure you that this economy is more resilient than it was in the past. So I can confidently tell you that the economy is not going to crash because of the war. I've called for an emergency cabinet meeting to decide some measures we can take to cushion the petroleum price while we expect that the war comes to an end. There are some tweaking we can do in terms of levies and margins and other things in order to maintain a stable price while we pray that the war comes to an end. I want to express.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has assured residents of the Savannah region of accelerated infrastructure development to drive growth and improve livelihoods. The president gave the assurance at the 50th anniversary celebration of the Gonjaland Youth Association anniversary celebration in Buipe on Sunday, April 5, where he was a special guest of honor. The event was held on the theme 5 Decades of Progress, Empowering Gonjaland Youth for the Future. President Mahama announced plans to establish STEM schools in Tinga and Busunu and upgrade all senior high schools in the region to Category A status. And in other news, the Chancellery of the Accra Reset, an African Health and Economic Sovereignty Initiative led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has launched a high-level panel to reform global health governance. The 18-member panel, co-chaired by figures including Peter Piot, El Jad Asi, Nisa Tridadi, and Budi Sadikin, will develop concrete proposals to address what organizers describe as an equal global health system. According to the Chancellery, the panel aims to shift developing countries from being passive partakers to sovereign actors. Its work will be guided by a consultative group including institutions such as the World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, Global Fund, African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the International Finance Corporation. The panel begins work immediately with its mandates to be shaped by output from platforms such as the World Health Assembly and United Nations General Assembly. Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman joined residents of Sokpo traditional area in the South Tong districts to mark the 40th Chochogbeza festival in Keji, where she delivered a message of assurance and unity from President John Dramani Mahama. Addressing the gathering, the Vice President acknowledged key concerns raised by the community, including post-flood recovery efforts, road infrastructure, and support for traditional authorities. She reaffirmed government's commitment to tackling these challenges and improve conditions in the area.
Is an occasion to honor tradition and also a moment to reflect on identity, unity, and the possibilities that lie within this community. This is why this year's theme is both appropriate and educational. Keji is a place rich in history and natural beauty. Festivals such as this do more than celebrate culture. They draw attention to the potential and invite all of us to consider how it may be developed for the benefit of the community and the nation also. I therefore commend the people of Keji, our hosts, and the organizers of this festival for bringing us together in a spirit of pride, joy, and reflection. I therefore take this opportunity to encourage the people of Keji, especially the youth, to take an active role. Are the youth here today? You are active participants in this development, and I know we can count on you. We count on you to protect the environment, preserve the culture, and present this community with confidence to the wider world. I know you can. Let this festival remind us of the importance of unity and peace. Our traditions are not only markers of identity, they are also anchors of cohesion. As we celebrate, we must also keep in view the importance of education, enterprise, and innovation. These are the tools that our communities will use to turn potential into lasting progress. May God bless this area and the surrounding communities that have come to celebrate with you. Tobeo, Mamao, Medekuku, Mebede, Maune Ramikata.
Now, in other news, the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwatiofosu, has announced that 100 new 29-seater buses have arrived in the country as part of efforts to ease recent public transport challenges. In a Facebook post on Sunday, April 5, he said the buses form part of a total of 300 procured by the government to improve transport services and reduce pressure on commuters. The development follows recent vehicle shortages in parts of the country, which left commuters stranded at transport terminals and bus stops. The new buses are expected to provide immediate relief, while additional buses scheduled for August and November are aimed at further strengthening public transport capacity nationwide. Now, moving on, the Damela Foundation has extended a helping hand to children at the Volunteers for International Medical Aid, VIMA Children's Home in Gbedome, through a donation of essential supplies aimed at improving their well-being and learning conditions. The items presented including 50 bags of rice, 38 cartons of biscuits, cooking oil, sugar, assorted drinks, water, toiletries, and several boxes of food products such as tin tomatoes, mackerel, and Milo. The foundation also donated 300 books along with 100 pens and pencils to support the children's education. Clothing and additional food items including bags of maize, beans, and gari were also part of the donation package. Speaking during the presentation, founder and CEO of Damela Foundation, Dayan Ayivi, emphasized the organization's commitment to supporting vulnerable children and promoting better living and educational standards. Time now for some international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has issued an expletive-laden threat against Iran's infrastructure if the Strait of Hormuz is not open. Trump says Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran if the key shipping lane is not reopened. He reiterates his earlier threats to unleash hell if the country does not meet his 6th April deadline. Previous deadline given by the president have shifted, and Trump tells U.S. media there's a good chance of a deal being reached. Now, this brings us to the end of the Woezor TV report. Many thanks for staying with us. I am Karen Naa Oyoe Quartey.